Okay, we had a relatively long night filled with the slightly fainter sounds of a train and a couple of barking dogs across the road, which never gave up throughout the entire night. And we were just clearing out of here before their Bible study or something starts. We are feeling downright undisciplined by starting at 7:20. Kansas has had an effect on us. Today the weather is looking kind of scary because for some reason it's not even getting to 90 degrees. I don't quite remember what it was like being in sub 90 degree weather, but I think that's when hypothermia sets in. And that would be the dog that was barking all night, I think. We have an easy 14-ish miles into Garden City. We actually had a really nice offer to siesta there from somebody who has a business downtown. Even cooler thing was the place we were going to be able to siesta used to be an axe throwing location, so I still have hopes of getting Taters to go axe throwing, but apparently that business moved out and we don't think we're actually going to need to siesta today. So we were really grateful to that church letting us stay. It was a little odd right when we showed up because, okay, we found the pastor. We're like, hey, and right off he's like, oh, hey, you need a place to stay tonight. And we're like, yes. And he was kind of wondering what we're doing. And we were saying we were hiking, and he didn't seem to recognize the American Discovery Trail, which is odd since there's at least a couple of years worth of people staying here. His daughter later also said, when I asked, oh, do you get a lot of bike packers? No, they didn't. So I'm not sure who usually stays with them. We're kind of out in the middle of nowhere here, so I'm not sure they would get a lot of like just normal transient folks. But oh, Jen, it's a pig. Oh, all of a sudden I'm craving a bacon burrito. So okay, then he thought he recognized me and said, you know where everything is, how it works. And we're like, no, we don't. But you know, all white guys with a beard look the same. Nobody can tell the difference between me and like Darwin on the Trail, for example. And then he's like, are you guys staying together? And we're like, yeah. And then he asked if we were married and then wanted to know if we were lying. So not sure what that was all about. I was half expecting to have a religious conversation with the guy after that, but his daughter came over to just make sure we had found everything, and then we didn't hear from anybody. And we're leaving this morning with no sign. So it was nice that Jen actually got the experience of staying in one of these churches, since the other times were before she was with me and after she was with me. From what we can tell, just looking around, basically the pastor has some sort of an organization where they go around and they try and establish churches in communities that maybe don't have the funds for one. And that was a pretty nice and fancy facility. Looks like it was built in an old school. I would normally have leaned towards sleeping outside. The AC was nice. And honestly, with all the barking that went on in this town the entire night, and also the train, I was happy we were inside. After the previous week or so, yesterday felt almost like a rest day, which is funny because we made it 23 miles. But that's the advantage of the tough spots. If I can keep to this schedule for the remainder, once the heat dies down, I might actually start making reasonable time. I have very little faith in my ability to do that. However, as soon as the weather gets a little more comfortable, I'm sure it'll be back to forcing myself out of the tent at 9 o'clock after many, many cups of coffee. Oh, it is nice early in the morning. So while we could have done a couple of more miles last night, it is mostly here. We're running between a controlled shooting area, whatever that means, and those train tracks that we were listening to all night. So even if we had found a place to bivvy along here, probably would have been pretty loud. We do have at least a chance of precipitation today. Personally, I'm not getting too excited because it seems like we have had eternal storms off to either side of us, but we barely got more than about 5 drops on us in I don't know how long. That is the first non-dead turtle we have seen in so long. I'm gonna hang back here so Jen can see him. And here we see Taters futilely running, trying to see the turtle. No, wait, little guy. Normally they freeze. Man, she's actually moving good. I need to tell her there's turtles up ahead all the time. We'll actually get more miles in.
cool.
And we have a happy ending. Taters was able to run over and see the turtle. I wish she hustled that much in order to get me a Dr. Pepper or a sandwich, but it is what it is.
But it was worth it.
Sadly, it looks like the main storm this morning missed us. At least we're getting some shade. Oh, looks like we got dog issues again. Jen just got chased off the road. Wind turbine arms. We saw them transported down the Mississippi. They have these special structures to get them on the barges. Taters just awarded Garden City her Taters' least favorite city in all of Kansas award and is currently Googling to try and figure out why they call this place Garden City. And here Taters demonstrates how bad it is trying to cross roads in these damn towns where they don't want anybody to walk. I am already picturing the episode title for Tuesday. Taters is so damn done with Kansas, followed with you hugging a Colorado sign. The ironically named Garden City. It's gonna have a really nice downtown, Jen. So we don't always eat at Subway, but today we did again. Also, if anybody lost a negative Nelly, I found her. She woke up on the wrong side of the church floor today. Everything sucks. She's tired of Garden City. It's a stupid name. She doesn't like the walk-in.
It was named after a garden that someone saw in 1878. Is no longer there, and this person might actually have been made up completely.
It's an aspirational garden. Are you trying to defend your positivity?
Kind of.
Okay, what's that, Nelly?
I have been happy about several things today. Yes, the walk into town was a little bit boring. And
She came up to me where I was waiting for her for water and went, "This sucks." I'm like, really? Nice. I left her a little stuffed animal on the road. I even moved the syringes around it away so she didn't have to look at it. Got her a little big with a video game. And now for everybody's favorite game, let's not get run over in Garden City.
So yes, I understand that cities have industrial areas, that they're a necessity, that not all of the city is going to be gorgeous. But here's the thing, assuming that the ADT guys did their due diligence on the route, this was the best walking route they could find through this city. If this is the best way you can walk through this city is maybe a little bit lacking.
You should be named Judy, because you're damn judgy today. So we just have a couple of miles to make it through Taters' least favorite city in Kansas. Seriously, she woke up on the wrong side of the church this morning. And then we're gonna hop over to another town where we may be staying in a park, or we may just try and push it and stuff along the way. Things have been getting a little sparse though, and it seems like even the trees set up as a windbreak that we've been relying on are not very common in this next section. I was telling Jen, it really does feel like we've kind of transitioned into a more deserty area because you've got stuff like this instead of people with 1.5 miles of a yard to mow every day. We just came in to say hi because this place is a paint place, and they offered to let us hang out next door, the store is empty because there used to be an axe throwing place. And yes, I am really bummed because I really want to take Taters axe throwing because that seems like it would be hilarious. But, so we had an offer for an air-conditioned siesta. And then what happens? It's 80 to some degrees and we don't need it. So
that's perfectly okay. Just to clarify, we're okay with that.
yeah, less memorable. Come on, Jen.
Wow, look.
Birds. There are pigeons in the sky. Look, Jen likes Garden City all of a sudden. So Jen was in a very, very bad mood all morning since she woke up on the wrong side of the church. But now after that coffee drink I got, now she has diabetes, so she's a lot happier. It's all working out.
Also nice people. And the clouds came over again.
She says they're nice now after she was bad-mouthing their city for the entirety of the approach. Don't put that on YouTube! Ooh. Lots of quaint fixer-uppers in this town, but Jen has come around to them. She's feeling much more positive about Garden City now. Last year on the Mississippi, she started drinking Stoked cold brew after somebody brought us some, and she literally took a sip and she's like, woo! And then I look at her and I'm like, you realize that it has a lot of caffeine? And she's like, no it doesn't! No it doesn't! Stop saying that! Why are you looking at me?
You are way exaggerating how much of that I drink.
If only it was all on the internet and we could prove it, yes.
But it was quite refreshing, and that was really fun that those people drove out on their boat to surprise us.
They chased us down in a storm in shallow water. It was really fun. But anyway, the Stoke did really improve her point of view. So I keep saying that we just need to give her one of those bottles every Taters Tuesday, and all of a sudden we would get a lot more talking with the side of heart palpitations. Sadly, we have yet to come across a single piece of Kansas It's Not That Bad merch from Miss McNegative Face McTater Butt over here, who keeps running into my poles. And with that, I think we are pretty much through our last major city in Kansas. We just got a couple of little ones from here on out to the border. This kind of sucks. Stuff like this is why we were saying we enjoy those farm roads so much, because this is high speed, little to no shoulder. You can't just relax and walk. We decided we're going to take a chance and see if an alternate road north of that one is any quieter. Couldn't get much worse, I would hope. Better, other than the wind wants to throw us into traffic. And welcome to Holcomb. It looks like the accommodations here are going to be a little bare bones, big windy field. I'm not even sure we're going to have any cover, but we are, as near as we can tell, okay to stay there per the local police. We are running a little low on beans, so Jen, or the pod person that has replaced Jen, is thinking, okay, we go to eat and then we go over there. Yeah, it's weird. We made a beeline to one of two restaurants in town, only to find it was closed. Welcome to small town life. And we were sitting outside trying to figure out what our options were when a lady pulled up and insisted that she was going to help us. She took us a few blocks back to the last restaurant that was open and made an arrangement with her friend so we would have a place to set up our tent outside of the trailer park. And ironically, after going through Garden City where there were about 20 different Mexican food restaurants, the only Mexican food restaurant was gone, and so we are at the Thirsty Dog. And Taters has ordered off the vegetarian menu, meaning she has barley water and cheese quesadillas. Once again, I mentioned she was a vegetarian and the lady just looked sad for her. She's like, you realize we eat vegetarians around here.
That's not true.
They eat cows. Cows are the only vegetarians in Kansas. By the time we finished our meal and headed outside, our spot in the grass to set up the tent had actually been upgraded to a pop-up trailer we were allowed to stay in. Quite frankly, we were very appreciative of the kindness, but we don't really mind sleeping on the grass. However, the fact that the pop-up trailer had a couple of stray kittens outside did pretty much make Taters' entire week. About 10 minutes ago, Jen just wanted to get into the trailer and go to sleep, but then she found out there are kittens and yeah, so I think she's just going to be up all night playing with the kittens.
We had planned to stay in the park here, and that probably would have been fine, but we couldn't quite get confirmation on it. and someone stopped us, had seen us walking on the road, was very enthusiastic, and ended up offering us their spare camper to sleep in. Home sweet home for the night.
I thought I might have hypothermia. Turned out I just had an erection that lasted for longer than 4 hours, and I'm trying to find a doctor.